like Mitchell, or you can be like Reynolds and Skiffle. Give it a Johnston and you'll get triple. Pass it to Cleary, you know he'll run the pitch. Score points like Jaboyevich, I'm game day fit, no need a switch. Cooking up like Quickie Man's in the kitchen. Who's that on the wing? It's Sivo. Score try and do the Guffrino, don't get too rowdy or too keen or you'll end up like Hassan Tino. Get a 40-20 like BCE, run the ball like hectic cheese. Support runner, that's Pappenhausen, but I still got Teddy at the SCG.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Final Siren podcast. As you can see, Davos has made a return. Davos, thanks for coming back on, and it's good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Noel. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back with you boys. I come back, refreshed and very happy. So I'm good. I'm glad to be back.
Good to hear. As the people who have been following our previous streams and also our Instagram would know, today we're doing a season review for the bottom four teams. Now, this the whole ladder will be split up into four parts. We've got the bottom four teams, the outside of four. I will be calling the next one the inside of four, which is 8 through to 5, and then the top four. So thought we'll split it up that way. It's not a really long video. That way we can actually get a bit in depth. But even these aren't going to be too long a video. So we'll start off with the Wooden Spooners, the West Tigers boys. I think we'll have a bit of a discussion before we go on to the each category for the season. What did you make of the season, boys? We'll start with Davos.
Yeah, there's not really many words to sum up the way the Tigers played this year, to be quite honest. Look, it was just obviously with Maguire getting sacked and then they threw Kamali into the Wolves, it wasn't a great year for the Tigers and it was dismal, very dismal.
What about you, Lachlan?
Yeah, there's no words to really put into this season for the Tigers. From a team, if you look at their squad on paper, they're actually quite solid all around the park, but they're just one of that teams where whatever names they've got, they seem to just not be able to put it together. So it was pretty disappointing, but they'll definitely need to bounce back next year with who's to come.
I agree. And what about you, Faraz?
I mean, 4 wins for the season speaks for itself. Like, about time they got the spin finally, but yeah, it just wasn't an ideal season for the Tigers. They had their moment with that 2-game winning streak against Parramatta and South Sydney, 2 big upsets, but other than that, they really had nothing else going their way.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, very sad season for the Tigers. First ever spoon for the West Tigers club in general, but obviously their merger clubs had quite a few spoons between them. A quick thing for the chat, we won't be answering any questions on today's stream just because obviously we want to keep the video a bit short. We usually do that in our other streams, and I think we'll be doing a commentary tomorrow night, at least a few of us maybe. So if you have any questions there, we'll answer them there. But today we'll just focus on this sort of stuff. But I'll quickly take us through the topics before we get to them. The first one, predicted finish compared to actual finish. The most valued player, rookie of the year, most improved player, best signing, and this is only like the best signing who's played this year, so not for next year. Pass or fail season plus the finishing grade we'd give them, and will they improve or drop in 2023? We'll start off with the predicted finish compared to the actual finish. Davos, where did you predict the Tigers to finish at the end of the season compared to where they actually did?
This was one of the tips that I actually got spot on because I actually had them for the spoon, but it was just not a great year for the Tigers, and their record speaks for itself.
I agree. What about you, Lachlan?
I actually had them 14th, so I wasn't too far off the mark, but clearly it was too high of a rating as well, 14th.
And you, for us?
I had them one spot before the wooden spoon. I had them 15th, so it was really close. Probably should have taken them for the spin, but oh well, it is what it is.
I actually had Tigers finishing 9th, so I was the most off of anyone here. And I don't know what I was thinking there, but looking back now, it was a horrid prediction from me. And I mean, when it got close to the season's beginning, I knew that I'd got the tip wrong, like even before the first round. But I mean, it is what it is. What about the most valued player, boys? There wasn't very many to pick from this year, but we'll start with Davos again.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty straightforward. I have to give Joel Fangawi a big a big rap. He in a struggling side. He just continued to show up with that workhorse attitude of his, and he was fantastic. So in a disappointing season, a big rap to Joe Fangawi.
What about you, Faraz?
A lot of people are going to say Jackson Hastings, of course, but I'm actually going to say Fanuma Brown. When he returned to the league, he was phenomenal for them. He scored a few tries. He looked threatening out of dummy half. His attack was good. So I'm going to say Fanuma Brown.
And you, Lachlan?
Yeah, I've got to give it to Joel Fangawi. I think this year he's been absolutely sensational. He's clearly been a standout every week for the Tigers, and you can't go past him on the stats or on the field. You can see his effort. Even when I went to Broncos Tigers live, Fangawi's still a standout. He was everywhere on the ground. He even gave me the middle finger. He loved it that much.
Yeah. I think you can't go past Joe Fangawi. I think he probably earned himself a Queensland call-up, a recall up, but he didn't end up getting it. But yeah, Offahengawi was my most valued player, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, Manu Brown was also up there, returning from. I think he's had a few injuries, so he's been very unlucky. But it's good to see him get a start for Samoa in the international games at hooker. So yeah, good on him. But yeah, Joe Offahengawi definitely. He's been the most valued player for the Tigers. Not really many to choose from there. What about Rookie of the Year, boys? I can't really name too many off the top of my head, but I know Fanua Pole was one of them. He's probably one of the only ones this year. I believe Jock Madden actually did count as a rookie, so you could have him in there as well. If any of you boys come up with any other rookies you'd think of, let me know. But we'll start with Faraz on this one.
I'm just going to go Jock Madden because you just mentioned him. I think he's probably one of the shining lights. He played a big part in their wins. Massive loss for the Tigers, honestly. They're going to miss him, I think, some sort.
Definitely. You, Lachlan?
To be honest, I don't really know many of their rookie players. Who was the one that he got who was involved in the escort situation with Felt?
Oh, I think that's maybe Asu Kepaoa, possibly.
The winger?
Tommy Talau or no?
Yeah.
No, Tommy Talau's been injured all year. It would have been
Yeah.
Kepaoa. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was actually pretty solid in the games that he did play. He added that extra spark. I think he had that one try where he launched above them all. I don't remember who it was against, but yeah, that's for me. That's a pick in the dark. Though I don't really know many of their rookie players. Yeah.
What about you, Davos?
Yeah, I was going to go with Fanua Pole. The opportunities he did get. I thought he was really solid in a team that was struggling to score points, and he's a big part of this Tigers team if they want to turn it around. So he was fantastic.
I agree. One I actually forgot to mention who I've just rethought of because he only played a few games. I'd have to say the Rookie of the Year for them was Jock Madden, but a special shout out to Junior Tupou. He runs the ball so hard. He was brilliant for the Tigers in the few games he played. So I reckon if he doesn't get a wing spot next year, I think a few clubs will be looking at him because obviously Nofaluma returning next year. They'll have Marlo Naden, who also was doing a pretty good job towards the end of the year. So I guess we'll have to see. But Junior Tupou, he was pretty good as well. Most improved player. There's a few people you could put here. It's up to you, boys. I'll start with Davos.
Yeah, the Tigers' most improved player. It's actually a bit of a weird one, to be honest. I would probably actually go off Fangawi. I mean, he went from one of those players that was like, he was solid, but he wasn't spectacular. But he turned and went to one of their best players, if not their best player this year. So I'll probably give it to Joffa.
I agree. What about you, Lachlan?
To be honest, mine's probably got to be Luke Garner. This man this year, he was not really a well-known name, to be honest, before this year. And this year he came flying through the gates. He was a try-scoring machine. He showed up every week. He was putting the effort in defense and attack. I think he's still flying under the radar for what he's capable of. I don't know if I'm dreaming things, but did he play in the Prime Minister's match?
Yeah, he did, I believe.
Yeah. And again, that you don't just make the Prime Minister's match for not being a for being a bum on the field. He really showed.
He's also been signed by Penrith next year, so keep in mind the premiers this year.
Yeah.
So
that would be my pick for most improved for this year.
I agree. That's a great pick. What about you, Faraz?
There's no one really else to choose from. I'm going to probably go someone like Oliver Gildart, probably because he's one of the more standout players. No one else.
Oliver Gildart?
I don't know. I've got no one else to choose from, honestly. I felt like all the senior players like Adam Dewey, Dane Laurie, who were actually half decent, actually went backwards. So I felt like there was more people that went backwards instead of improved. Can't really choose one from the spoon.
I'm going to heavily disagree with that, but we won't get too much into it just because of the fact that Gildart was probably one of the worst players and went to the Roosters at the end of the year.
It's the Tigers. I've got no clue, mate.
Yeah, for me, I agree with Davos. It has to be Joel Hengawi, most improved player, also their most valued player. So yeah, I agree. Joel Hengawi, he was a very good player. Well, not very good. He was a good player, and this season he was a very good player. He was a great lock this season, ball playing and just his determination in running and everything, and his pride towards the Tigers jersey. So yeah, I definitely think Joel Hengawi. Best signing, boys, and obviously, like I said before, this is related to this season. They have to have played this season, not for next season. Otherwise, it'd be between Abby Coruscant and Isaiah Papali'i. So, who was the best signing this season? For who actually played this season? There's only a few choices there. We'll start with Davos.
That's actually a pretty hard one. Look, I thought Brett Naden was actually quite solid for them. I thought he came from the Doggies, who obviously had a big depth of outside backs, but I thought he was very good at the Tigers, Naden. So I'd give it to him.
What about you, Lachlan?
For me, it's going to be Jackson Hastings. I don't think you can go past him. The year he's had, he won a Golden Point thriller against Para at Bankwest for him. He ended up going from the halves to lock for the half the year. He was outstanding. He was the leader in the park. If they didn't have Hastings, they didn't have the Tigers. And that's, for a first-year player, that's pretty good going for me, I think. For me, he was clearly the standout, as long as they did make a few other good signings. But, and again, they're making signings that aren't really doing the things that Hastings was doing for the Tigers this year.
Yeah, that's fair. And what about you, Faraz?
It's going to be Jackson Hastings, short and simple. Without him, they don't win those games they won against Parramatta, South City, and Brisbane. So yeah, Jackson Hastings.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Although I do see why Davos has said Brent Naden, it has to be Jackson Hastings. I mean, you look at, I think at one point he was the leading the era for touches in a game. Per game and just in the actual league. So that was awesome. He was getting close to like 90 to 100 touches of the ball per NRL game, which is just crazy to think about. But yeah, I definitely think they looked a much better side when Luke Brooks was in the 6 and Hastings was in the 7. I would have loved to see them experiment with Hastings and Dewey in the house. But I guess it seems like we won't ever know, because next season apparently they're going to be playing Luke Brooks at 7, Dewey at 6 and Hastings at 13 again, which I just think is stupid. But we'll get on to pass or fail season plus a finishing grade. This one should be pretty simple. We'll keep the answers pretty short. What about you, Davos?
No, it's very, very easy. It's a big fail, and my finishing grade would be an F, just a horrible season.
Lachlan?
For people like BKR, it might be a pass mark, but for anyone in particular, it's easily a failed season. There's nothing that has gone right for this year for the Tigers and their fans. They deserve better, and you've got to give it an F. You can't give it anything else. You don't win the one spoon and still get an A+.
And you, Faraz?
F minus.
F minus. That's not a grade, but okay, we'll
That's
take
not
it.
a grade, yeah.
For Faraz, it is.
For Faraz, it means Faraz minus. For me, yeah, obviously it's an F and it's a fail season, but yeah, I agree. Lachlan's joke there still in my head. Now the last thing, then we'll move on to the New Zealand Warriors. Will they improve, drop? That's meant to just say drop or stay. I'll fix it up right now. But will they improve, drop, or stay the same in the 2023 season? Because obviously, finishing 16th, they can finish 17th next season. So there is a way down for them. Davos, what do you think?
I actually think they will improve. To be honest, I think they've made some wonderful signings in Papali'i and Api. You know, they'll both bring some very much needed experience, and I feel like we owe Sheensy with working with Benji and Robbie Farah. You know, they'll create a good group of coaches. So I think they'll honestly improve. To be honest, I want them to improve.
Yeah. What about you, Lachlan?
Yeah, for me, I'd like to see them improve. Tigers are those teams where I don't hate them, I don't love them, but I'd prefer to see them have some success. I think for me they'll improve, but I don't think they'll go as high as like 13th or 14th. I don't think it's going to be a huge improvement, but I still think that they're going to show better signs. But as Tim Sheens and Benji Marshall know, it's going to be a long process as well to get this team to what they used to be.
And what about you, Faraz?
They've probably recruited the two best players you possibly could. Appy, probably one of the best nines going around, Isaiah Papali'i. I think they'll show signs of improvement next year, but the question is, how much more are they going to improve? Because anything's an improvement from wooden spin. I think they'll be around 17 to 14, something like that in the ranks. I think Appy will play a big part for them, a few more wins, maybe 6, 7, but nothing much more. They just got to work a few things out.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I think they improved, and I think they improved drastically. I'm going to go for the second time, for the second year in a row. I'm going to go the Tigers finish 9th next season. It's a very risky guess, but I mean, I guess you'll just have to come back here next year and see if I was right or wrong with that guess. I have doggies and actually no, I won't talk about that one just yet. But we'll probably do ladder predictions at some. We'll probably do ladder predictions at some point.
How much did Jackson need to say that, mate?
Year. We'll move on from that question very quickly and go to the New Zealand Warriors. Now, the New Zealand Warriors, I believe they were 13th just before the last round, and somehow I don't even want to talk about this right now. Sorry, Warriors fans. Predicted finish compared to the actual finish, boys. Where do you predict the Warriors to finish in 2022? We'll start off with Faraz this time.
From memory, I had them like around 10 to 13, around that. I can't really exactly remember. Probably 12. Look, the Warriors, they have been affected badly by the situation. It's not about on the field as well. They're suffering off the field. So, look, I think the Warriors next year with a few more home games, they'll definitely have a few more wins. They'll definitely be up the ladder. They've made some good signings in Charlie, who clots that Tim and Martin as well. So, like, they're building well, but they're just so hard to read on. I think they'll probably be around that 10 to 12 mark again next year. Not bottom 4, but yeah, look, I want them to do well. They deserve it. They've done a lot for the game.
What about you, Davos?
Yeah, I actually had them pinned at I think it was 11th. I think. Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for the Warriors. You know, they're one of my favorite teams, and I want them to do well. But like I said, it's just to deal with this COVID stuff, and hopefully with few more home games, they do well.
Yeah, fair enough. And Lockie?
Yes, this was actually one of the teams that I got right. I actually predicted them for 15th, which is where they finished. I had a feeling it would hurt them again with being away from home, and it clearly showed in the first 2/3 of the season. It hurt them. They were so hot and cold, they would pull it together for 20 minutes, and then the other 60 they would turn off, and they'll get 40 put on them, and then they would fall to shambles again every week. We didn't know what was going to run out onto the field, but I think next year is the year they're going to have to pull the finger out because they're back at home. That can't be the excuse anymore. There's no more we're away from home, we're homesick and all this, because you're not. There's no excuses next year. You've made signings. You're back at home. Pull your finger out and get some results.
Yeah, definitely. I think the same thing. I think I had them. This is one I got. This is probably one of the closer ones. I think I predicted them 13th or 14th, so pretty close. But next season, I think there'll be drastic improvement. But we'll get to that a bit later on. Most valued player, boys. Obviously, again, not too many to choose from. I'm willing to bet Davos is going to say Bunty Afoa, but we'll go to Davos first and see what's your thoughts, Davos.
Well, look, if you're going off who played most games, you'd say Bunty, but I thought he was actually pretty good. But my actual most valuable player, Ewan Aitken, I thought that he was pretty good for the Warriors this year, and it's a big loss for them. Redcliffe made a very good signing there, so yeah, I'd have to go with you and Aitken.
Yeah. What about you, Faraz?
I'm going to say Josh Curran, actually. He's been really consistent for them. One of the most underrated players going in the league right now. He's been really consistent for them. I think, is he the captain for them? Or is that...
Nah, the captain's Fanua Blake and Toe Harris.
All right. I definitely see him as captain material. I think he's pretty young as well. So, yeah, a future stuff that right there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And what about you, Lockie?
I'm just looking at the squad here. I'd probably have to say Ash Taylor, but for me, it's got to be the captain. It's got to be Fanua Blake. The man shows up every week. As much as people don't like him because he's too hard for the sport because they're all turning into soft cocks or he's something else. But I think you've got to give it to him. I think every week he's the front row for a reason. He keeps going. He runs over 160 more times than most players do. So for most valued player, it's got to be him.
Yeah, I think if Tohu Harris played more games this season, I reckon he could have been up there. But yeah, I agree with Lachlan. Adam Fanua Blake was, I think, their most valued player this season. Rookie of the year, boys. They didn't have too many debutants, but I'll quickly list a few. I believe Vilea is one. Dejan Arce isn't, I don't think, just because he debuted for the Cowboys a few seasons ago. I think Elisa Katoa maybe in that category. And I think Tom Ale is up there as well.
Who's that guy that played 6 for the Warriors? That rookie, I think he played 6.
Volkman.
Yeah, I think,
Ronald Volkman.
Yeah.
Reece Walsh has to be a rookie, doesn't he?
A rookie. He played last year.
Did he play last year? I thought he started this year.
No. He played the full half the season last year. Took over from Roger. Roger played on the wing.
Right. I thought. Oh.
Yeah, I think either way, Walsh was horrible this year. So
yeah, either way. But for
the Warriors, he didn't look real horrible, but it is the Warriors. So
yeah, that's very true. We'll start off with Davos. Who was your rookie of the year?
Mine's pretty simple. I'd have to say Vilea. He's the future of he's one of the big parts of the Warriors' future. I think they signed him to like 2026 or 2024. I can't remember. But he's a very good player, and Warriors have got a good center. I just hope they hang on to him.
Yeah. What about you, Faraz?
I'm actually going to go in a different part. I'm going to go Ronald Volkman. I think he's the future 6 for the Warriors. He's got a good career ahead of him. He looks the goods right now. And
Lockie, what's yours?
I love how Storm fans saying hope they can keep him because the Storm are the kings of poaching players. But I think for the rookies, you'd have to go with Vilea as well. The kid's a freak. Hopefully Bellamy doesn't slide him a few under the table, but I think he's definitely in the future 17, and he's definitely got to keep his spot. He showed his class all year. He was a try scorer most weeks. I think he scored a hat trick against a team from memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's pretty simple. There's not many to choose from either.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to kill you.
The only choice has been Vilea and probably I don't know, maybe Elisa Katoa. I'm gonna go Vilea. I feel like Edward Cossey might be, and if he is, then he would be my rookie of the year. But I'm gonna go Vilea for the same reasons others have explained. Most improved player, boys. It definitely wasn't Reece Walsh, you'd think. No. What do you boys think? We'll start with Lockie this time because he hasn't got a start yet.
Most improved player, you'd probably have to say Josh Curran. The man this year went to another level for his season. I had him in my fantasy team, and every week he was over 50 points most weeks. He showed up in defense and attack. He scored a few tries as well. I think his defense was more improved than his attack and his ball running. I think he turned into a brick wall But Curran for me was definitely a standout for my most improved. I might have missed someone, but for me, Curran is the first one that came to mind.
Definitely. For us?
I'm gonna go. I don't know if you guys are gonna agree with this, but probably Jesse Arthurs. I thought it was really good for them when he played.
Yeah, that's a fair pick. And Davos?
I've actually gone Wade Egan. He,
Smart.
he's improved out of size. To be honest, like I thought he would be like that. That Jake Friend type. Jake Friend was a very good player. Don't get me wrong, but he was more of like that defensive hooker where like you make your tackles and then you bring your hooker on that's gonna do all your plays. But I thought Egan improved his running game heaps. He's a fantastic player for the Warriors, and he improved out of sight.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's the exact same Wade Egan, and for the exact same reasons you've said. Best signing, boys. I'll quickly run through a few for you to pick. I'm just going to say these are all eligible because they either signed this season or midway last season. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, Jesse Arthurs, Dejan Arce, Ewan Aiken, I believe he signed halfway through last season, so I'm going to count him in. Freddie Lussick and Ronald Volkman, boys. So who tickles your fancy there? We'll start with Lockie.
Well, Freddie Lussick didn't really play many games, to be honest. I think. Trying to think. Come back to me. I'll have a think.
Come back to you. Davos, who have you got, mate?
Well, if you're gonna count Ewan Aitken, I might as well say him because he's just very consistent. There was that point where he's a centre, but then he got moved in the second round. He performed very well, so I'd give it to him.
For us,
I've already said Jesse Arthur's most improved, so I'll go with Jesse Arthur's. I guess he did a good role for coming for Rockerberry at centre. He did his job most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, it's Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. He's an absolute freak. Brilliant try scorer.
Can I just ask you as well, was Marcelo Montoya there last year?
Marcelo Montoya, I believe he was there last year, and as it was, I think he's come up through the system anyway. So yeah, but yeah, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak obviously has been a bit. He's had a bit of a bad record with the Bulldogs. He hadn't won at one point quite a few games in a long time. But yeah, but Dallin, he's a brilliant player, and he's my most.
I don't know what made him if he can't win games. What made him sign with the Warriors? But
yeah,
but yeah. What about you, Lockie?
Yeah, I'll probably have to go with Dallin as well. The man's class. The man's been picked to play for the Kiwis in the World Cup. He's got talent for a reason. He's not there to make up numbers in a 17. He's there to score tries and run over people, which is what he did most of the year when he wasn't. He had a few injuries, but yeah, I'll have to agree with Noah on that one. I think you would go with Dallin for me as well.
All right, yep. Well said. And pass or fail season plus a finishing grade, boys. We'll start with Faraz.
Fail. I think it's a fail just. I think I'll give them a D. Considering the situation, being away from New Zealand, I think I'll give it a D.
Yeah. Lockie?
Yeah, it's a fail easily. I'm going to give him a D as well. But being away from home isn't an excuse. You still had 17 players run out every week. There's no need to put the excuse up of there was no effort or anything. You're there. This is your job. You're getting paid. You still be showing up every week and every day for it.
Definitely. And Davos, what's yours?
Yeah, I'd give him a fail. I'd give him a D only because, again, they're away from home and, hopefully when they're back at home, they'll win more games. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a foul season, and I think a finishing grade of D or D minus, something like that, is fair considering their situation. But yeah, I'll go with D just because obviously they haven't played a home game in quite a while until the end of the season, which they actually did start winning stringing some wins together. It could possibly be up towards a D plus if they hadn't lost to the Titans when they were up 26-12.
Can I just back up Lockie's point? Even before they returned to New Zealand this year, didn't they lose their last 6 at New Zealand before, or something like that?
Something like I that's actually a good point.
So they have still underperformed at home. So yeah.
But to be fair, I think they have a much better team than they had in 2018.
You can't tell me on Anzac Day losing 72-6 or whatever they lost
70 to 10.
Yeah.
I was at
70 to
that
10.
game.
You can't tell me that's an excuse for being away from home.
Or try
Yeah,
not only that,
That's just boys versus men. That's
It was 16 to 10 at one point.
Halftime was 16 to 10.
Remember I told
where
you
was Bunty that game, Davos?
Yeah.
Huh?
Where was Bunty that game?
Oh, I tried to get a photo with him, but
He must
he
have
went
been
down
in
the
the
tunnel.
cubicle with Kalen or Lindsay Collins.
But yeah, as for that, I think that's the thing every year for Anzac, even when they were playing at Mount Smart, you'd always see the Warriors get smashed by the Storm. But will they improve, drop, or stay the same in 2023, boys? We'll start off with Faraz.
They'll improve. I don't know how much they improve, but they'll improve. But they'll still be inconsistent.
Okay, sounds good. Lockie, what do you reckon?
I think they'll easily improve. Looking at their gains for this year, like next year, sorry. Mitch Barnett, Jackson Ford, Tamari Martin, Luke Medcalf, Charles Nickel-Clockstad, Dylan Walker, and all them. You can't see them going downwards. They've got Tamari Martin, who has showed that he's a gun footballer. He's got a good brain on him. Mitch Barnett, he's a workhorse. Jackson Ford, he's a young gun. Nickel-Clockstad, he's a fullback who has showed his class in the game already. If they go downwards, the club needs to go down because it's just an embarrassment.
I agree. What about you, Davos?
I reckon they improve. I reckon they do improve. They've made some wonderful signings, and hopefully the new coach Andrew Webster can, hopefully see the Warriors up the ladder more. So, yeah.
I agree. Steady. They've got a steady coach in now who's not just an interim coach. They're back at home full time. They've got some key signings. Another bold call from me. You'll hear more about it if we do a ladder prediction video. I think the Warriors will be competing for the 8 next year. Whether they make it is a completely different situation. I don't think they will, but we'll talk about that some other time. But the Newcastle Knights, boys, we'll go through this pretty quickly, 32 minutes in, so we don't want to go for an hour. Predicted finish compared to actual finish. What do you boys, how did you predict them to finish this year? They're a bit of a weird one. We'll start with Faraz.
I had Newcastle 14. I knew they were going to struggle. When Pearce was announced he was leaving, or did he get released? I don't know which one, doesn't matter. Anyways, I knew they were gone. They struggled even before last year when they made the 8 towards the end of the season. They got knocked out first week. Yeah, look, disappointing season for Newcastle. They started the year with 2 wins. How much did they end up on overall?
I believe they finished on 4 or 5, maybe.
Well, they've already won 2 or 3 more games from there. So
yeah.
that's against West Tigers, Bulldogs, EEC. Look, nothing much more to say. Just a disappointing year for them. Feel sorry for the fans.
We all know Faraz likes to fire up about the Knights. What about you, Lockie?
I had them 11th. I think after they made the finals, they were on the up, but clearly Reece Walsh was putting his nose down. Not Reece Walsh, Kalen Ponga, I should say. Well, both of them did the same thing, but
what about you, Davos? Oh, sorry.
I'm done. That's right.
Okay, cool.
I had the Knights. I'm pretty sure I had them 15th actually. I had them 15th. I knew they would struggle. Don't get me wrong, I love the Knights, but
why?
Why do I like them? I like some of their plays for us, and I don't know. I've always liked the Knights, but anyways, it was just terrible. Like when they beat the Roosters, I was like, geez, this team could be on the up, but then
I was there.
Just went like that. So
for me, I had them finishing 16th. I actually thought they were going to get the spoon after the loss of Mitchell Pearce. Was it 5th? It might have been 16th or 15th. No, it was 15th. Sorry, because I had I had Cows 16th. So I had them 15th. So one off, quite close. I mean, nothing much to say. I think I had them 15th and Warriors 14th. So if I just switched those around, I could have got it right. But yeah, obviously losing Mitchell Pearce was big, and there's nothing else really to say about it. Terrible season for them. But who do you reckon was their most valued player, boys? I honestly think this is one of the hardest teams to pick because they just seem to lack enthusiasm all year. But we'll start with Lockie.
Most valued player, you would probably have to go with Daniel Saifidi.
Yeah.
The man every week, once again, he's a front rower, but every week you could rely on him to do his job. In defense, attack, he would take the big yards. I think there's a few of them. Like you could have gone Dominic Young if you really wanted. Every week he showed up, but you probably have to put him in most improved if you wanted to pick him.
Yeah.
But like David Clemmer, he was good.
Mm.
And again, like there wasn't really that. Like Tyson Frizzell, you could go him, but I think for me, you got to go Daniel Saifidi.
I agree. Yeah. And Davos, what about you?
I'm actually going to go with Tyson Frizzell. I thought he was very good, again, in a team that just kept chopping and changing their players. And I thought he was very good, and there's a reason he won Knight's best player. So, yeah.
Nice. And for us?
Anthony Milford. No, I'm joking. Who I actually thought I was actually going to say Dom Young, but I'd put him in the more most improved category. So I'm going to go someone like David Clemmer.
I mean, you could have them. You could have him in both if you really wanted to. It's up to you.
I'll just go Dom Young then. I mean, probably one of the most exciting plays coming through. It's somewhat of a positive in a negative year. Nothing much else I can say. Man's a trash freak as well.
I'm gonna go Dom Young as well. David Clemmer is an honourable mention for me. He was very solid, but Dom Young, I reckon was their best player all year. Rookie of the year, boys. I don't really know too much about their rookies for the Knights. I
know one.
I know there's Christian. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, but he only played one game, so he probably wouldn't be there. Chris Randall is maybe there. So he'd probably be a front runner. Who else is there? Sami Solo, I think, is there. And there's one more I think I'm forgetting.
Does Crossman count?
No, I don't think so. But he wouldn't be up there anyway, would he? We'll go to Davos first because he seems to have an idea.
The one person you were probably forgetting was Leo Thompson.
Yes.
I thought he was very, very good coming off the bench for the Knights, and I hope the Knights keep him, and because he's a fantastic young player, and he will be a big part of the Knights' future.
Definitely agree. What about you, Lachlan?
For me, it's going to be Chris Randall. The kid stepped into the biggest shoes probably in the team, other than Kalen Ponga for Brayley. I think he was outstanding every week. Played 80 minutes most weeks. Defense, he's a brick wall. I remember his debut, he made over, I don't remember how many tackles it was, but it was nearly a record amount. His ability, eyes up footy at hooker is what teams want. He's a handy bloody backup to have in your team. But for me, I think he would be my rookie of the year by a long shot.
To give a bit of information on that, Chris Randall on debut, 50 tackles, 0 missed. So,
Wow.
Brilliant stats there. For us, what about you?
I got no clue, mate. Leo Thompson.
You got no clue. Leo Thompson.
We'll still in.
I'm going to go with Lachlan. Chris Randall. He was very solid all year with Jaden Brayley missing. Obviously, Jaden Brayley probably been their second best player. So yeah, I'll go Chris Randall. Most improved player, boys. I think this is a pretty simple one.
Yeah.
But, I think we'll just go through and say the name for each of them. For us,
Dom Young.
Lockie.
Actually, I'm going to be different. I don't think it's Dominic Young.
Oh my goodness!
Most improved this year is the brother of Daniel Saifidi, which is Jacob.
Oh, that's actually true.
That's a fair shout. That's a very fair
Jacob.
Shout.
People always have him under the wing of his brother. No one gives him the credit of what he needs. He was coming off the bench. He was playing about 30 minutes a game. And then he got himself this year into a starting front rower spot. at one stage.
Did he play Origin?
Yeah, he
Yeah, he
did.
played the
yeah.
last game.
Yeah.
He scored a try as well, like within
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
30
yeah.
seconds of being on or something.
But guess what? Cleary still gave it to Hunt, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it's got to be Jacob. The man this year has turned his career on its head, and he's one of the X factor forwards in the game now.
Fair shout. And what about you, Davos?
Yeah, Dom Young for me. Yeah, he went when I first saw a couple of his games. Yeah, I thought this guy's going to be one of those guys who just plays like a few games, gets drops, goes off to Super League. But he's proven me wrong, and he's a fantastic player.
Definitely, I agree. I'm going to go Dom Young. Lockie did make a very interesting point about Jacob Saifidi, but I'm just going to stick with Dom Young there. Feel like he's been great. Best signing, boys. There's only been a few. Dane Gagai is one of the people in there. Probably Adam Clune's up there as well. Jake Clifford's in there because he sort of signed like mid last year, so I would count him in there. I think that's pretty much all there is. There might be a few more, but boys, I think it's pretty simple. But who's your signing of the year for Knights? We'll start with Lockie.
Oh, you always pick me first, but I don't know. These are all the irrelevant teams, so I don't know who they are.
Do you want me to come back to you?
Hold up, give me 1 second. I'm just having a look.
He's having a bit of a look-see, seeing what's happening here. Has to be Clune, Clifford, or Gagai, you'd think.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be Clifford. The man wasn't even in the first grade team.
That is true.
It can't be.
Probably have to go Gagai individually, I guess.
Nah, Gagai. Most weeks you need a search warrant for the bloke. You couldn't even find him on the field. You'd probably have to go with Adam Clune.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Knights did shit, but first year came into a halfback team. He was filling the boots of Mitchell Pearce. There wasn't a dog in front of him. No, we're gonna go with Adam Clune.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that no one said this name yet.
Oh, really? I'm gonna go Adam Clune as well. I'll just quickly get out of
really?
the way. Davos, have you said yours yet? No.
I have not, and I don't really need to say mine because I was going to go Adam Clune. So
I've actually got a different one from you three. And I'm not joking when I say this.
Oh, Anthony Milford.
I think Anthony Milford. I think like individually he was actually good for them.
I actually think I
seriously,
Milford. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I know Newcastle had a diabolical year, but I think Milford individually wasn't that bad. He had a few good moments.
Yeah.
remember his conversion against the Broncos where he spade it so far right.
Yeah,
I have a video for us doing a bit of commentary on that one. I have to bring that one out at some point. I think we'd get banned within the first 3 seconds of the clip. But no, I think I'm going to stick with Adam Clune. But Milford definitely a close second. I just reckon the way Clune started that year for a rookie halfback, he was on control. He was controlling the Roosters that first game and the second game. I'm not too sure who they play against. I believe. Yeah, Tigers. Yeah, sorry.
If Anthony Milford played earlier in the year, do you think Newcastle move up the ladder just a bit?
No.
No, I doubt it. I reckon if you said Brooks, maybe I would probably have said yes, but not Anthony Milford.
I agree. Actually, I reckon Brooks would have controlled the team well. Pass or fail season with a finishing grade. This obviously should be pretty stock standard. We'll start with Davis.
Look, I'm going to give him an F. Look, I know they finished higher than the Warriors, but the Warriors were away from home and the Knights were just off. They chopped and changed their spine that much I couldn't even keep count. So, it's just a horrible year. So, an F.
And what about you, Lockie?
Yeah, it's got to be a fail, considering that they went from finals to where they finished. It's a pretty dismal year. I think there was constant pressure around Adam O'Brien. Then there was pressure around Kalen Ponga, which that's probably still in the works behind the scenes. It was just so much off-field stuff. The David Clemmer incident with the trainer. It all didn't help the club at all. I think next year they just have to refresh, rebuild, and go again. But my finishing grade would be probably a D- for me.
Faraz, we know
I'm
you
gonna
love
give
the
them an
Knights.
Look, I'm going to give them an F, but can I be honest with you? I think they're my most disappointing team this year from this
Yeah.
bottom four. Like, they made the 8 last year. They had a lot of promise. Because remember, this team, they won the spoon three times in a row before. So they were going on the up. So everyone back to normal, resume. So, look, it is what it is. But Newcastle, they're going to keep flopping. Just a jack of a club.
I always expected them to fail, and I'm happy they did. I'm not a big fan of Newcastle. F for the season because they did not really set a foot right, and they always looked like they were going to be competing for the
Their
spoon.
fans are really passionate, though. Got to say that.
They have very passionate fans. I'll give them that. But boys, do you reckon they'll improve, drop, or stay the same in 2023? We'll start with Faraz this time.
This is probably an early prediction to my wooden spooners, but I think they're going to come last. They just haven't recruited anyone. Yeah. I think they're going to change their halves a lot next year. Look, no disrespect to Tyson Gamble, but if they can't even find the right halves partnering for him to play a full season at 5'8", like, just don't know what's going to happen. And Kalen Ponga, look, he's arguably one of the biggest superstars in our game right now, but he can't really play a full season. So, yeah, look, not much going for Newcastle.
I'm not too sure what you mean. I think a halves pairing of Tyson Gamble and Phoenix Crossland would be a finals halves pairing, in my opinion. But well, what about you, Lockie?
Yeah, you have to go down that path as well. They changed the halves more than Davis changed his undies. I think. For me, the Knights will drop. I don't think they're going to improve. They haven't recruited anyone. It's pretty quiet on the Newcastle front.
Yeah. Okay.
That was more watching the Knights this whole year.
That was more. Davos, we'll go to you before we head on to the Titans.
I only have the Knights ahead of one team next year, so they're going to finish 15th this year. They're going to
the Dolphins.
No, you're going to actually be surprised, but I'll leave that for another video.
Davos, I don't think you can hate on the Dolphins. They've basically got your whole team there.
No, but the Dolphins are better than the team that's going to finish last next year. So,
Biff, calm down a bit, mate.
No.
We get it. Gee whiz, I feel like it's Titans, but I'm not gonna say anything yet.
It's not.
Speaking of the Titans, we'll head to them soon. But for me, I think they'll drop. I think they'll finish with the spoon. I think they'll finish 17th next season. But here comes the Titans. Davos is not predicting them last, apparently. Predicted finish compared to actual finish, boys. Where did you think the Titans were finishing? And we'll go to Davos.
Look, this is probably one of the ones that I got very wrong. I actually had the Titans pinned at 7th, but it was just one of those years where it was like, because obviously they were one pass away from beating the Roosters and playing. I can't remember who the Roosters played that year in the Manly. They were one pass away from playing Manly. And then I don't know what happened this year. I mean, it was the biggest decision to let go of Jamal Fogarty.
100%.
I think that was probably one of the worst decisions ever made.
You traitor. We'll head to Faraz quickly.
Look, I actually had them 9th, which is they finished 13th, so it's a bit of an off mark. But look, I had Titans in my top 8, but then I realized Jamal Fogarty wasn't going to be there. So I'm like, they struggled to make that last year. So it's like, if he goes, same with Mitchell Pearce with Newcastle. I thought Gold Coast are going to struggle. So look, I tipped them to not make the 8, probably a bit too high on the ladder, but. Yeah, look, a bit of a disappointing season for the Titans. But I can say, though, from all the teams we've discussed so far, they've got a lot of potential compared to these teams at least.
Definitely. For me, I had them finishing, I believe I had them finishing 12th or 13th. So it could have been right on the money there. Luckily, have we gone to you yet? We have, haven't we?
No.
No, okay, sorry. We'll go to you before we move on.
I'll make the jokes and I'll get left out. It's okay.
Okay.
I had the Titans 13th for the season.
Yeah.
I don't look very highly of that club. It still gets me how they can have such a nice stadium with 2 fans in it, but
Can I add something? The 2 worst fans. I hate them so much.
We can all imagine who they are. There's one with a drum and there's one with a bald head.
Anyway, before we get cancelled by the fans of BKR and unnamed, so you had them finishing 13th, which they did finish. So good on you there. I'm just going to say I think I had them 12th, or it might have been 11th. So yeah, I was very close, but and obviously none of us really like Titans very much. Sorry, Titans fans. Sorry for the three of you actually watching the stream currently. There's more people watching the stream currently than there are Titans fans, so that's awesome. Most valued player, boys. I'm not even sure what to say about this one. Who was their most valued player? I think I know who Davos is going to say, so I'll go to him first.
I'm going to say my favourite Titans player, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. There's not much you have to say about him. He's legit just the fucking beast. Like, he's just makes meters for fun, and he's the leader of the Titans.
Why's your laptop gotten a bit higher since you spoke about that, Davos?
Oh, my legs were very sore. So my legs were very
I'm just
sore.
going to cut onto that.
I guess you can say Davos is feeling very excited about the fact that Tino is going to be debuting for Australia. Faraz, what was your?
I'm in a two-way horse race here. I think it could either be Bo Former or probably Moe Fotuaika, something like that. I'm probably going to go Fotuaika because he's consistent. I think he was unlucky not to get the call up for Queensland this year. But look, yeah, there's a few young players there, but Fotuaika for me stand out every week.
This might be the first one each of us goes a different person. I'll have to see what Lockie says first, though. Lockie, who was your most valued player for the Titans?
I'm going to go AJ Brimson. The man.
I was going to say that too, but yeah, I went Fotuaika.
The man played 5'8". He excelled in that. Jaden Campbell's fullback. The next bloody, who knows what they were thinking he was, the next Billy Slater or something, like Toby Sexton's the next big thing. But for me, it's AJ. He went back to fullback every week. He was scoring tries. He was making the Titans fans excited, which I don't know what they're making excited. But, yeah, for me, it's got to be easily AJ.
Yep. The Titans and all their two fans getting excited over AJ, and I was too. AJ Brimson, exciting player to watch. I think he was their most valuable player. I feel like if he's not in the starting 13 next year, that is an absolute robbery, because I feel like Jaden Campbell, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound very controversial here. Jaden Campbell, I believe, should be the fullback. I do think that. I think he's got a lot of talent.
I agree as well.
But I think Brimson needs to be the 6, and then Foran needs to be the 7. I'm not sure why that's on Foran. I would have stuck with Tanner Boyd and Brimson, or at that point.
I agree with the Tanner Boyd one.
Tanner Boyd one. Tanner Boyd needs to also be in the team now. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you guys think Toby Sexton's going to get a game next year? Probably. Do you think he'll fit around the team somewhere?
No.
Honestly, I don't think he was that bad though individually.
No, I don't think. I think he was actually one of the better players, but it's just.
He had the most forced dropouts by a half, I think.
I think Newcastle might look at him then in another half.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
They'll be looking at Luke Brooks. They'll be looking at probably trying to sign Jackson Hastings while they're at it. Toby Sexton. Who's next? They'll probably try and get Andrew Johns out of
retirement.
Most improved player, boys. For the Titans, this is a really tough one. I can't really think of many off my head because Tino was great last year. Brimson was also great last year.
I was going to say this bloke, but I'm going to say him for Rookie of the Year. I think most improved.
My most improved would be Aaron Clark.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was like 14 most of last year, and then this year he came on to starting hooker, and then they put Sam McIntyre. Don't know why into hooker.
I'll tell you what, when Clark was moved to lock and Tino front row, they had Aaron Booth at hooker, that was when they actually looked the best. The best team they were fielding. So I hope they explore that a bit more next year with Verrills at 9, Aaron Clark at 13, and then Tino in the front row. But continue on there, Lockie.
No, I'm finished.
Yeah, I think Tanner Boyd, just to finish it up, I think Tanner Boyd, he made a good transition to the 5'8" role. He won them the game in that last round against the Warriors. A field goal to slice out the season. Good way to finish it off. He had some good touches against the Broncos as well. He had a good game. So, yeah, look, not really else much to choose from.
And you, Davos?
I'd say both form. For a firmer, yeah. I'd say. Wait, did I pronounce that wrong?
I'm pretty sure it's Femur. I'm not sure.
I can't pronounce it, but he was fantastic.
Firma.
I mean, I know he didn't play Origin, but he was in the squad for a reason, and you don't pick players in the squad just to have a holiday. You pick them because they're very good, and he was scoring tries for the Titans, and he outshined for Feeder. So yeah,
not too hard to do. Anyway, my most improved player would have to be Tanner Boyd. I agree with Faraz in that. I think obviously brilliant player. Not brilliant player. Good player for Titans standards, and I hope he keeps the halfback jersey. It'll be 5'8" jersey. Oh no, I hope he doesn't actually. I hope he comes off the bench now because I want Brinson 5'8", 4 and halfback, and Campbell in the fullback jersey. Boys, rookie of the year. I'm not too sure who the Titans rookies are, to be completely honest.
I've got one already.
Okay,
yeah, I've got mine as well.
I actually rate this guy a lot. He's the next future star. I think Jojo Fafita.
Oh, yes.
I think Jojo Fafita is going to be. You see that game against the Doggies where he nearly chased and Josh out of a car?
Is it because of his last name, or is he actually talented?
No, he's really talented.
He's more talented than his older brother, that's for sure. He doesn't go missing in the games.
And wasn't he also in the Australia Prime Minister XI game as well?
Yeah. Yes, he was. Yeah, he played pretty well in that as well. So yeah, I agree with that.
Still got a bun pick with Benjamin Hunt in that game.
Would you boys count Tanner Boyd as a rookie or not really?
I think
he played 30 games already in his career. He played 30 games in his career.
I was going to say him, but if you're not, that's fine because I'll say Fafita because he was Jojo Fafita, just making that clear. Not the David Fafita that played in the centres. I don't know why they did that, but Jojo's a beast. He's got a good build and very, very good player.
Of course, you look at his build, eh?
Lockie, who's your rookie of the year?
Yeah, it's probably going to be the same as all you guys. I know we sound like a broken record, but it's got to be Jojo Fafita for me. He came bursting onto the scene. Him and Greg Marzu on the wings are pretty powerhouses. They're both got bigger legs than Davis's head, but it's got to be him for rookie of the year.
Davos has been back on the final siren for 57, nearly 58 minutes, and Lachlan has already made fun of him more times than the minutes passed in this episode. Most improved player, boys. Oh, sorry, wait. I don't think we've gone. Wait, I haven't done mine yet. Sorry. Well, I'm just going to say what all you've been saying. Jojo Fafita, same reason. Most improved player, boys. Who really improved? If any of you say David Fafita, I'm actually going to come find out where you live and come to your house and probably beat you up. So, who's the most improved player? I'm starting with Davos. I was going to say I would start with Lachlan, but he looks like he's really thinking about this one.
I'm going to go.
Oh wait, sorry, we already did this.
Oh, we did most improved. We did.
I'm sounding like a broken record right now. Best signing.
Noah has been in the cubicle. Can confirm.
I have been in a cubicle with Kalen Ponga. I can confirm that he was doing some weird stuff in there, and the powder was indeed white. So, best signing, boys. Who have we got?
Can I be totally honest? I think the only guy they signed from memory was Isaac Lee, and he fell off a cliff.
Yeah,
I thought he was one of the better players, in my opinion. But
isn't that what everyone does when they go to Gold Coast?
Pretty much, yeah. But
I agree.
I reckon. So you all agree with Isaac Liu?
I mean, he's the only.
Who else did they sign?
Also, just anyone. Before we move on, a special mention to Corey Thompson. He announced his retirement this year.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I think their best signing was BKR to be there. One man there playing the drums.
Can confirm Corey Thompson actually showed up to the retirement ceremony on the grand final as well. Not like a lot of the players.
Pass or fail season and a finishing grade. Let's try not to be too biased here, boys, because this will be the second last thing before we end off. We'll start with Davos.
Look, I'm gonna give the Titans a fail. Look, they made finals the year before, and they were one pass away from playing Manly, and to fall off a cliff like they did, it's horrible. So I'm gonna give them. I'm giving them an E.
Yeah, that's
Really.
fair. Faraz, what's your grading for them?
I'm actually going to give them a D.
Okay, that's fair.
And this is going to be controversial, but I think it's a pass year for them.
Whoa.
No.
It's a pass for their standard, but
Yeah. I'll give you that.
BKR standards. What about you? What about you, Lockie?
If you've got a drum and you're wearing a Titans jersey, anything's a pass mark for him. His little brother Toby Sexton is the next big thing, but it's definitely a fail. Every year's a fail for the club. The fans are a fail. The club's a fail. The coach is a fail. Everything's a fail.
The fans are the biggest fail, though. The fans are the biggest fail.
Okay, we'll sort of. I'll cut off the Titans slander a bit before we start losing start losing subscribers. There, will they improve or drop, or will they improve, drop, or stay the same? Also, but for me, it's a fail season. I'm just going to give them an A minus. A, no, just E, just an E, straight A.
Henry Thomas, can you please stop yelling at us in cap locks? Would be nice. Because guess what? You must be Holbrook, son. You're a fail.
He just said, "No, I'm leaving." Okay, Henry. We'll see you later. If not, then good on you, mate. Will they improve, drop, or stay the same in 2023? Davos. Actually, no. We'll start with Faraz. Sorry. We'll start with Faraz, and we'll end off with Davos on his.
Personally, I was just joking about them. They had a failed season, of course, but look, personally, I think titles finish around 12 to 10. They'll improve, but I think they could be fighting for the 8 next year. I honestly think they could. Honestly, with Sam Verrills coming to the hunt, Kieran Foran, they've got a lot of experience there. Look, they weren't that bad this year. They gave a lot of good teams a good
Faraz.
So,
Did you just say they'll be fighting for the 8 next year?
they were. I'm not.
Okay. Lockie, what's your opinions?
I think they'll be fighting for the top 4, to be honest.
Okay, Davos, and what's your thoughts?
Premiership. No, I'm joking.
Well, I'll bring all the boys back to say goodbye. No, seriously, boys.
They
What
won't
do
be
you
taking
reckon?
from me. Just saying. But they'll be competing.
They'll be okay. Well, Faraz can
Stay the
stay out
same.
until we say goodbye. But honestly, boys, do you reckon they drop, stay the same, or improve in 2023?
They stay the same because let's be real, it's the bloody Titans and they're garbage. So
Yeah, very true.
I think they'll improve, but it won't be by a lot.
Yeah,
Like same as Tigers. As Faraz is saying, babe in the comments. Oh dear.
Well, Faraz, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to quickly put you in timeout. I'm trying to. Yeah, there we go. Faraz has been put in timeout again for the second time on the channel. Third time is strike out, and he will be blocked from the channel. No, but in all seriousness, I think they'll improve. Like Lachlan said, I'm going to go. They'll finish like 12th or 11th. I think Kieran Foran's a good signing. I think Sam Verrills is a good signing. I don't think they'll finish too high though. They definitely won't be competing for the 8, like Faraz said. But I'll have Faraz back now as we can finish off. Before that, I just want to quickly promote our Instagram. If you aren't already following our Instagram, that's where we post all of our updates. We'll let you know when we're going to be streaming. That's just an easy way for us because obviously you can't post on YouTube and stuff like that. So make sure to follow our Instagram. Subscribe to our channel if you aren't already. I'll add Faraz back and I'll let Lachlan end us off.
Yeah, Faraz, the camera's back on now, mate. Behave yourself. Zip your little fly up, buddy. Yeah, thanks for tuning in again. This is the first of 4 that we'll be doing for the reviews, as we'll be doing, if you know your maths, 4 times 4 is 16. So we'll be doing 4 of these. Good to see Faraz has fixed his internet. Davos is back from his nice tan with all his Indian girls. Noah's here still, sadly, with his grassy ass. But It has been us, the Final Sign podcast, once again for another episode. Thanks for tuning in to the people who did. Make sure to watch the replay. If you listen to the replay, make sure to subscribe. But tune in, follow the Instagram at Final Sign podcast where you'll see our updates when we're going live and whatnot. We'll keep you updated if we're doing commentary for tomorrow night for Australia versus England. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'll see you in the next one.